Welcome. Today, we're diving into the concept of good cause as it appears in state decisions. This term often pops up in legal and administrative contexts, but what does it really mean? Understanding good cause is essential for anyone navigating state regulations, whether you're dealing with employment issues, licensing, or even court procedures. In this video, we'll break down the definition, explore its applications, and look at real-world examples to help clarify how good cause is determined and why it matters. Let's start by defining the term and seeing where it fits into the broader legal landscape. At its core, good cause refers to a legally sufficient reason or justification for taking a particular action or making a certain decision. It's a flexible standard, meaning what qualifies as good cause can vary depending on the context and the specific rules of the state or agency involved. Generally, it requires more than just a personal preference or minor inconvenience. Instead, it must be a substantial, legitimate reason that would make sense to a reasonable person. This definition sets the stage for how state agencies and courts interpret and apply the concept in various situations. You'll often encounter good cause in a variety of legal and administrative settings. For example, it's a common standard in employment law, where an employee may need to show good cause for quitting a job to qualify for unemployment benefits. It also appears in licensing decisions, court continuances, and even in family law matters. Each context may interpret good cause slightly differently, but the underlying principle remains the same. There must be a sound, reasonable basis for the action taken. In employment law, good cause is a crucial concept, especially when it comes to unemployment benefits. If an employee quits their job, they typically must demonstrate good cause to be eligible for benefits. This might include unsafe working conditions, significant changes in job duties, or harassment. The state agency reviewing the claim will look at the facts and decide whether the reasons given are substantial enough to meet the good cause standard. This ensures that only those with legitimate reasons receive benefits. State agencies often require individuals or businesses to show good cause when applying for, renewing, or appealing the denial of a license. For example, if a professional license is suspended, the individual may need to present evidence of good cause to have it reinstated. This could involve demonstrating corrective actions, changes in circumstances, or compliance with regulations. The good cause standard helps ensure that licensing decisions are fair and based on legitimate reasons. In court, good cause is often the standard for granting continuances, extensions, or other procedural requests. For instance, if a party needs more time to prepare, they must show good cause for the delay. This might include unforeseen emergencies, new evidence, or other significant developments. Judges use the good cause standard to balance fairness and efficiency, ensuring that requests are not granted for trivial reasons. Family law is another area where good cause plays a significant role. For example, a parent may need to show good cause to modify a custody arrangement or to request a protective order. The court will evaluate the reasons provided, such as changes in the child's needs or concerns about safety, to determine if they meet the good cause standard. This approach helps protect the interests of all parties involved, especially children. Administrative hearings often require parties to demonstrate good cause for actions like late filings or missed deadlines. For example, if someone misses a deadline to appeal a decision, they may be allowed to proceed if they can show good cause, such as illness or unavoidable circumstances. This standard ensures that procedural rules are applied fairly, without penalizing people for circumstances beyond their control. When determining whether good cause exists, decision-makers look at several factors. These may include the seriousness of the reason, whether the situation was beyond the person's control, and whether they acted promptly once the issue arose. The context and specific rules of the agency or court also play a role. By considering these factors, authorities aim to make decisions that are both fair and consistent. One important aspect of good cause is its subjectivity. What qualifies as good cause in one situation may not in another, depending on the facts and the decision-maker's judgment. This flexibility allows for individualized assessments, but can also lead to uncertainty. That's why it's important to understand the specific criteria used in your state or by the relevant agency. Let's look at some examples to clarify what might be considered good cause. In employment, quitting due to unsafe working conditions or harassment is usually accepted. In court, a medical emergency might justify a request for more time. For licensing, correcting a past violation and demonstrating compliance can be good cause for reinstatement. These examples show how the standard is applied in practice. Not every reason will qualify as good cause. For instance, quitting a job simply because you dislike your boss or want to change is unlikely to meet the standard. Similarly, missing a court date due to forgetfulness or failing to renew a license because of procrastination typically won't be accepted. Understanding what does not count as good cause is just as important as knowing what does. It's important to note that the definition and application of good cause can vary from state to state. Some states have detailed regulations outlining what qualifies, while others leave more discretion to decision makers. Always check the specific laws and rules in your jurisdiction to understand how good cause is defined and applied where you live. Some states provide statutory definitions of good cause within their laws. These definitions may list specific circumstances that qualify, such as illness, family emergencies, or compliance with a court order. Having a statutory definition can make it easier to predict how the standard will be applied, but it may also limit flexibility in unusual cases. Many state agencies publish guidelines or policies that explain how they interpret and apply the good cause standard. These guidelines may include examples, required documentation, and procedures for submitting a good cause claim. Reviewing these resources can help you prepare a stronger case if you need to demonstrate good cause in an administrative process. The burden of proof for establishing good cause usually falls on the person making the claim. This means you must provide evidence and arguments to support your position. The type and amount of evidence required can vary, but it's always important to be thorough and organized when presenting your case. Supporting your good cause claim with documentation is essential. This might include medical records, correspondence, official notices, or witness statements. Providing clear, relevant evidence increases your chances of success and helps decision makers understand the full context of your situation. Acting promptly is often a key factor in establishing good cause. If you delay in taking action or notifying the relevant agency, it may weaken your claim. Decision makers will look at whether you responded quickly once you became aware of the issue, so don't wait to gather your evidence and submit your explanation. Decision makers, such as judges or agency officials, have discretion in determining whether good cause exists. They consider the facts, the law, and the circumstances of each case. This discretion allows for flexibility, but also means that outcomes can vary, even in similar situations. Understanding this can help you better prepare your case. If your claim of good cause is denied, you often have the right to appeal. The appeals process varies by state and agency, but generally involves submitting additional evidence or arguments to a higher authority. Understanding the appeals process and deadlines is crucial if you want to challenge a decision. In some cases, courts may review agency decisions about good cause. Judicial review typically focuses on whether the agency followed the law and applied the correct standards. Courts usually defer to the agency's judgment unless there was a clear error or abuse of discretion. This process helps ensure fairness and accountability in state decision-making. The concept of good cause is rooted in public policy. It allows for exceptions to strict rules when fairness or justice requires it. By giving decision-makers the ability to consider individual circumstances, the good cause standard helps ensure that laws and regulations are applied in a humane and reasonable way. One challenge with the good cause standard is balancing consistency with flexibility. While it's important to treat similar cases alike, there must also be room to account for unique circumstances. Agencies and courts strive to develop guidelines and precedents that help achieve this balance. But some variation is inevitable. Court decisions, or case law, play a significant role in shaping how good cause is interpreted. Judges look at past rulings to guide their decisions, and over time, these cases help clarify the boundaries of the standard. Reviewing relevant case law can provide valuable insight into how good cause is likely to be applied in your situation. Legal precedents set by higher courts are especially influential in defining good cause. When a court establishes a rule or interpretation, lower courts and agencies generally follow it. This helps create consistency and predictability, though there is still room for interpretation in new or unusual cases. The requirement to show good cause is closely linked to the principle of due process. It ensures that people have a fair opportunity to explain their actions or request exceptions to rules. By requiring a valid reason, the good cause standard supports transparency and accountability in state decision-making. Procedural safeguards are built into many state processes to ensure that good cause claims are evaluated fairly. These may include notice requirements, the right to a hearing, and the ability to present evidence. Such safeguards help protect individuals' rights and promote confidence in the system. Proving good cause can be challenging, especially if the facts are disputed or the standard is not clearly defined. It's important to gather as much relevant evidence as possible and to present your case clearly and logically. Consulting with a legal professional can also help you navigate complex situations. Having legal representation can make a significant difference when arguing good cause. Lawyers understand the relevant laws, know how to gather and present evidence, and can help you navigate procedural requirements. If your situation is complex or high stakes, consider seeking professional assistance. If you're representing yourself, be sure to research the relevant laws and agency guidelines. Organize your evidence, prepare a clear explanation of your reasons, and be ready to answer questions. Being thorough and professional can improve your chances of success even without a lawyer. When making a good cause claim, avoid common mistakes like missing deadlines, failing to provide evidence, or relying on weak reasons. Double-check all requirements and make sure your explanation is detailed and supported by fact. Taking these steps can help you avoid unnecessary denials. The outcome of a good cause decision can have significant consequences, from receiving benefits to keeping a license or winning a court case. Understanding the process and preparing thoroughly can make a real difference in your life or business. Take the time to learn the rules and present your case effectively. In the context of public benefits, such as welfare or disability assistance, good cause may be required to explain missed appointments, late paperwork, or other issues. Agencies use the standard to determine whether to grant exceptions or continue benefits. Providing clear explanations and documentation is key in these cases. Educational institutions may also use the good cause standard for issues like late assignments, absences, or appeals of disciplinary actions. Students may need to provide evidence of illness, family emergencies, or other significant reasons to be granted exceptions. The goal is to balance fairness with maintaining standards. Housing authorities may require tenants to show good cause for late rent payments, lease violations, or requests for extensions. Acceptable reasons might include job loss, medical emergencies, or other hardships. Providing documentation and communicating promptly with the landlord or agency is essential. Healthcare providers and insurers may require good cause explanations for missed appointments, late payments, or appeals of coverage decisions. Patients should be prepared to provide documentation, such as doctor's notes or proof of emergencies, to support their claims. This helps ensure fair treatment and access to care. With the rise of digital systems, many agencies now allow good cause claims to be submitted online. This can make the process faster and more convenient, but it's still important to follow all instructions and provide complete documentation. Technology is changing how good cause is handled, but the basic principles remain the same. Language barriers can sometimes make it harder to present a good cause claim. Many agencies offer translation services or forms in multiple languages to help ensure everyone has a fair chance to explain their situation. If you need assistance, don't hesitate to ask for language support. Cultural differences can affect how good cause is understood and presented. What is considered a valid reason in one culture may not be recognized in another. Agencies and courts strive to be sensitive to cultural factors, but it's important to clearly explain your circumstances and provide context if needed. The good cause standard is an important tool for promoting equity in state decisions. By allowing for exceptions in deserving cases, it helps ensure that rules are not applied in a rigid or unfair manner. This flexibility supports justice and helps address individual needs and circumstances. As society changes, the interpretation of good cause continues to evolve. New challenges, such as remote work, digital communication, and public health emergencies, may influence how the standard is applied. Staying informed about legal developments can help you anticipate changes and adapt your approach. During crises, such as natural disasters or pandemics, agencies may broaden their interpretation of good cause to accommodate widespread disruptions. This can include extending deadlines, waiving penalties, or granting exceptions for those affected. Understanding these temporary changes is important if you're navigating a crisis. To sum up, good cause is a flexible legal standard used in many state decisions. It requires a substantial, legitimate reason for taking action or requesting an exception. The standard is applied in a variety of contexts, and understanding the specific rules in your state is essential. Always provide clear evidence and act promptly to strengthen your claim. Understanding good cause can make a big difference when dealing with state agencies, courts, or other official bodies. By knowing what qualifies, how to present your case, and where to find help, you can navigate the process more effectively. Remember, preparation and clarity are your best tools for success. Thanks for watching this comprehensive guide to good cause in state decisions. Whether you're facing a legal challenge, applying for benefits, or just want to understand your rights, knowing how good cause works is invaluable. Stay informed, be proactive, and don't hesitate to seek assistance if you need it. Best of luck as you navigate your own journey through state decision-making processes.